All right, man. Pete Persico, hopefully I said his name right. As CBS did a top 100 NFL players list, and no Detroit Lions made it. Also, Danny Amendola and Kenny Galloday is motivated to bring a playoff game to Ford Field and win that thing for the Detroit Lions. Let's talk about that as well. So let's get into it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button. Motor City Sports Talk, me in the building. Appreciate the love, support. Best way to support the channel, share the video. And yeah, a lot of different players made. I think the top three was Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Donald, and I think the third one on the list was Russell Wilson. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at the top three. I mean, Pete says that the gray area is where do you rank players that was injured this year or, you know, had a bad year or whatever. You don't fucking rank them. You know, it's not a lifetime achievement award if you're talking about the best 100 players from last season. Just because you had a great 2018, it does nothing for 2019. And these lists are hella biased. The writers like who they like. They don't like who they like. You know, that's my whole thing about it. If you're talking about the best players based off last season, how can you say Amari Cooper was better than Kenny Galloday when Kenny Galloday didn't even have his main quarterback more than half the year? It makes no sense. How's, you know, Ben Roethlisberger a snub on the list? He did absolutely nothing. When he played, he sucked last year. You know what I'm saying? Odell Beckham, he put up solid numbers, but a lot of those numbers came against bad teams, I believe. You know, Khalil Mack didn't have the greatest year last year. We understand his effect, but if we talking about the top 100 players based off last season, it's not a lifetime achievement award. It's not. But you know what that's a product of? Going back to Lumish Brown, an article he wrote, or he was a part of an interview he did, last year, saying that the reason that he can't get into the Hall of Fame, even though he got Hall of Fame-like credentials, is because the Detroit Lions didn't win. When the Lions, you know, don't win and Martha don't know how to put a winner on the field, or she not, you know, hell-bent on really putting a winner on the field and know what she's doing, when you don't get those Monday night games, Sunday night games, or you don't make it to the playoffs on the big stages, you just going to get, you know, snubbed off the list year in and year out. You got to really come here and be Barry and Megatron to get national attention. And that's the problem. So players that think about signing with the Lions in free agency, they think about that. Like, dude, I'm not going to get no shine here. I can put up great numbers. Kenny Galloday was tied for the league lead in touchdowns. What people don't understand, they compare him to Devontae Parker. Parker had Fitzpatrick the whole year, basically. You know what I'm saying? Kenny Galloday had Jeff Driscoll and David Blogg. Guys that people have never heard of, and he continued to produce. He continued to produce. I said again, he continued to produce. Matthew Stafford, since we talking about injury players and this, that, and he was on track for MVP candidate. But you know why he didn't get recognition for that? Why he was healthy? Because the team wasn't winning. The special teams was letting them down. The defense was letting them down. You know, Stafford is one of probably the top, I think it was like 10 quarterbacks ranked ahead of him. I can't be mad if you're going based off last year. But if you're doing a lifetime achievement award, you know, I get it. You're going to have the players that you bias towards and you remember doing great things. But we talking about last year, you know, you can't leave Amendola off the list. You know, Trey Flowers' number stacked up with DeMarcus Lawrence. Not sure if he made the list. His number stacked up pretty well against Khalil Mack. He had 7.5 sacks after, you know, coming to camp with an injury. So when you match his dollars, you know his dollars with his production amongst his peers, he right up there with them. But when you don't win, you don't get the hype. You don't get the media. ESPN ain't really paying attention to the Lions. CBS ain't really paying attention to the Lions. Everybody got a perception of what it's like in Detroit. But how many people sit down and watch the games and follow, you know, what the coach say? They can't. If you're covering all 32 NFL teams, you paying more attention to the more popular teams, the Cowboys, the Patriots, the Steelers. And let me say this, how did Mika Fitzpatrick not make the list? I understand he had a bad start in Miami, but when he went to Pittsburgh, he was straight balling. He was worth every piece of compensation they gave up for that guy. He was a turnover machine in the right system. How didn't he make the list? You know what I'm saying? Zeke Elliott, his numbers look good. See, people go off them numbers. But if you go down, I broke his stats down on a live stream I did on my other channel a couple weeks ago. Check it out, Goodfellas Sports TV. We talk everything over there. Sports, music, entertainment, the whole nine. That's Goodfellas Sports TV right here on YouTube, right? And I broke it down. The majority of his big games came versus lesser opposition. So if you just look at the stats, you can have a guy, like Ezekiel Elliott. He didn't have a great year last year, but he dominated the sorry teams. The one team he had a good game against, over 100 yards, was the Eagles. The second time around, the Eagles in any other division, probably not named the NFC East, they don't make the playoffs. So they wasn't a team that was above 500. People getting in off of name, off of legacy, off of what you did before, off of stats. Stats are so deceiving. They say that Marvin Jones is a top 4 pass catcher in this league, and that's not true. No offense to him, I think he dope. But deep analytics and stats, that don't tell the whole story. If you had an easy schedule, you dominated the great teams, but you didn't show up you dominated the bad teams, but didn't show up versus the great teams. What do that tell me? No matter who it was with Galloday, no matter who it was at quarterback, who it was on special teams, who it was on defense, Galloday dominated the opposition. He didn't show up on the road. He didn't show up at home and disappear on the road. He was consistently a really, really good player regardless. And these lists are biased, but at the same time, these lists just reflect that you have to have national attention for your players to get the recognition from what they've done. When you consistently bad, when you consistently SOL, when you consistently don't win, when your owner don't want to win nothing, this is what you get. And it's sad that some of these players over the years, we had some really good players suffered due to the Lions not putting, Martha and Bill not putting a good squad around them. Makes no sense. But this is why you have situations where, great players or good players or players that had decent seasons, get snubs off lists like this. When you don't put a winner together, you haven't won a playoff game since 1991. These are the type of things that happen. Players get snubbed. And when the players get snubbed and know they won't get recognition with your organization or your squad, then they don't want to come here via free agency. It's hard for you to retain players. And on top of that, don't forget Kenny Galloday got a contract coming up. If he's not gonna get recognized nationally, why not, recognize him with your pocketbook, with a check, with that bag, So you're getting fucked on both sides of the table. You're not getting national recognition, and locally your team don't want to pay you and just show you that they solid. And that's the problem with the Lions. Why would I want to come here and I'm not gonna get recognition even if I ball out? We're not gonna win. We're not going to make the playoffs. We're not going to get a lot of Sunday, Monday night games. And on top of that, you don't want to pay me until it get down to the very end. Kenny Galloday shouldn't have to go asking for a contract extension. Bob Quinn should have one for him before they go to training camp. Period. You know what I'm saying? And if they don't extend me this year, if I'm Kenny Galloday, I'm leaving. I'm one of the 10 best receivers in the league, and I can't get recognized because these clowns can't put a winning supporting cast around me and Matthew Stafford. I'm not going to waste my career here. Get the hell up out of here then. If they're not going to pay me and they're not going to put a winner around me, I'm gone. And it's just as simple as that. They don't want to pay nobody but Matthew. And if you like Barry or Calvin, and then they don't want to put nothing around you. It makes no sense. If Galloday has a presence of mind, he'd sit there and say, look here, man. Either y'all going to pay me now, or, you can franchise tag me for the next 2 years. I ain't coming back. You might as well trade me. Because me getting snubbed off lists like this and me not getting national recognition is because y'all can't put a winner around me. So you either going to overcompensate me, pay me before I need to be paid, or I ain't staying here. I'm not going to waste my career here and be be a potential great player that don't get recognized. I'm not going to stay here and do that. And that's just my point. In Stafford, he can win anywhere. A lot of people feel that. If he was anywhere other than Detroit, Kansas City, Houston, not saying he'll be, Patrick Mahomes or be, Joe Montana, but hey, he would have had a playoff win. He would probably be a contender season in and season out. He's suffering. You know what I'm saying? Had Trey Flowers had the season he had with Detroit last year on New England, maybe he'd make the list. But one thing you got to remember about these lists, that they are Lifetime Achievement Awards and favoritism. Most of the writers don't know shit about football. I'll tell you that right now. They ain't never spatted up. They ain't never padded up. They ain't never went down the alley. They never been part of Bully in the Ring. They don't know shit about football. You got to remember that people that vote for people in the Hall of Fame just write. They're emotionally attached to certain players, and they have emotional disdain towards certain players. You know, anytime somebody bring up Pro Football Focus and a real football debate and, oh, this, I don't even talk to them. We talking football. X's and O's. A lot of writers can't talk X's and O's with you. You know what I'm saying? They in a position because they went to school to learn to write. Not because they went to school or they did an internship at Alabama or internship, you know, with the Kansas City Chiefs and learned about football. You know, numbers ain't everything. But Amendola and Kenny Galloday say they've been working out this summer, keeping in touch. Danny Amendola said, even working out with Stafford, and said that they hell bent on bringing a playoff game to Ford Field and a victory. And a lot of players said that. But, you know, to be honest, you know, they can do their part and go beyond the Call of Duty and do their part and still not make it. You know, that's the problem. A receiver position is dependent. We really got to depend on Matthew Stafford being healthy, them blocking for Stafford. The special teams was so underrated. People don't talk about doing what they need to do. And then we still got to worry about Patricia's defense. You know, we got to worry about Patricia's defense. You know, but, you know, everybody got something good to say about Kenny Galloday. Darius Slay said when he clean on his route runner, it's going to be over with. Danny Amendola said he a dog. You know what I'm saying? It's funny that they got 8 years apart. And you talking about route running, Amendola, one of the more underrated route runners in the league. So he can learn, even though he 8 inches shorter than Amendola, he can learn to come in and out those breaks a little bit better. He can learn how to round off his routes a little bit better. You know, he can learn to catch the ball a little bit better. He can learn a lot of different things from Amendola. Amendola been around the block. He'd have won championships. He'd have been on good teams. He'd have been on super teams. He'd have been on bad teams. You know, for the simple fact that Amendola is taking Galloday under his wing, Galloday can't do nothing but improve. But I'm happy to see they hungry to try to lift the Lions up out of absurdity. Okay? But that's only going to happen if Bob Quinn, Matt Patricia, Martha, and Sheila Ford allows it to happen. You can go out there and catch everything thrown your way. But they don't put the soldiers around y'all to be successful. It's just not going to matter. And that's the God honest truth. It's not going to matter. But these boys working hard. Everybody I'm seeing working hard. People get mad at Kerryon because Kerryon not working hard. He on the beach with IG models. Don't mean he ain't working out. People think you supposed to just work out 24/7 and you ain't supposed to enjoy your fruits of your labor and the money you made in the league. No. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see what it comes of it. But I do think Danny Amendola, I get why they brought him back. Good veteran presence, professional. And I think at Galloday is going to learn a tremendous amount from him this year. And I think if Stafford healthy, I think you might see him take that leap into being a top 5 receiver if we thinking logical. If people ain't going off Lifetime Achievement Awards. Last year, what he had was one of the top, he had one of the top seasons last year. So, you know, I look forward to, seeing him grow. I look forward to the work ethic of him and Danny Amendola, you know, bringing the championship or bringing a playoff win to the D. If they could bring a championship, even better. But, you know, wouldn't that be some bull jive if they did, have a playoff game at Ford Field and the fans wasn't allowed? That would be crazy in my opinion, man. I could see something like that happening. The Lions make it to the Super Bowl and ain't no fans allowed. But yeah, man, I'll link that CBS article in the description. Also, I'll link the 97.1 ticket article I got in the description. The CBS article got the top 100 players on there. You can groom the list or you can go through the list if you want. But hey, don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video quest. Keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation to the channel, Cash App, PayPal, subscription. Best way to donate, share the video. And all my social media in the description. If you need to get in touch with me if you got a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video quest. Again, one time for the one time. Motor City Sports Talk. It's your boy CJ Goodfellow. We gone.